been so fortunate to come across something that I've learned just in the last little over a year now, and it's called homeoprophylaxis. So this is a way to create real immunity for your child without the toxic effects, the negative side effects from vaccines. There's no harmful component to this whatsoever. It's been around since 1799, so there's actually this isn't some new therapy that just came off the corner of the street. Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, he's the father of homeopathy, and he actually used this back in 1799 with scarlet fever. And so there was a huge scarlet fever breakout in Germany at that time. And what they were finding is most homeopaths will treat something as soon as the disease shows up. And they've had great success doing that for centuries. But Samuel Hahnemann, he said, well, hey, what if we administer this to the child before? How's that going to act? And guess what? It was extremely effective, so effective that it just became something that the country decided to implement and use for everyone that as a mandatory thing. Homeoprophylaxis, we can use that same methodology, that same approach, that same application for these childhood illnesses such as pertussis, which you and I know as whooping cough, polio, mumps, measles, Haemophilus influenza. I mean, all those different childhood illnesses that we know about that we need to have our child protected from. Guess what? There's an approach and an application that can be used. And so it's very simple. It can even be done with newborns. And the homeopathic way of creating this is done with succussion, which is kind of a shaking and basically taking an initial discharge or sputum or infectious agent, whatever you want to call it. They'll put it in a tincture and they'll shake it so many times, and then they'll pour it in something else and shake it and shake it. Well, guess what happens after all this dilution? Guess what? What was in that original thing, there is no longer any fragment of that illness or disease or whatever left. So what is left is the energetic component of it. It's pretty fascinating. That's how homeopathy works. So the energetic component is present, and that can be put in these teeny little pellets, and you can actually put it right into the child's mouth and it'll just dissolve. And that is how you can introduce it to your child. Very safe, very effective. Now, it can definitely stimulate the immune system to a certain degree, and so what some people might find is when they do apply it, maybe the diaper might be a little more full or a little more runny, or maybe they might be just a little more irritable. And the only reason why that would be the case is because that child was more susceptible to that disease or illness. And so their body, the reaction to it is it's creating that immune response that's not going to be as drastic or dramatic as if they ever got exposed to it, naturally in nature, or of course, from any kind of a vaccine, but the body will naturally create that immunity. And what's nice is you can do this and you can dose this, and people ask about booster shots and things like that, or going out of the country, and there's a lot of remedies and applications for that as well. And so you can dose this, and there's a whole plan that can be put together that I use with a lot of the clients that I work with, and it's really specific, direct, it's easy, and what's great is it can give you that peace of mind to know that, okay, I'm not going to vaccinate, but I do want my child to get some form of immunity. Here's a good solution for you.